Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
A major winter storm is bearing down on Toronto with the potential to bring the largest snowfall total that the city has seen in nearly 2 years. Meteorologist Bill Coulter says that Toronto will see between 15 and 25 centimeters of snow between late Wednesday afternoon and early Thursday morning, but totals could be higher in other parts of the GTA. The last time the city got that much snow was in March 2023, and city officials have already indicated that it could take several days to fully dig out. Environment Canada says that snow might get mixed with ice pellets this evening with a risk of freezing rain overnight. Heavy wind gusts of up to 50 kilometers per hour are expected on Wednesday night, creating the risk of blowing snow and poor visibility. Ontario Provincial Police Sergeant Kerry Smith is advising drivers to be prepared. It does look like it's going to have some waves, it's going to have some real intense periods and then some less intense periods and then back and forth. And so you may think you are out of the woods and you start to pick up the speed and you drive right into a wall of snow again, Schmidt told Awaz News. He says drivers should slow down and give themselves space when conditions worsen on the road. Two Toronto police officers are in hospital after being assaulted by a driver when they stopped a vehicle from entering a film shoot in Etobicoke Wednesday afternoon. Toronto police say the incident happened just before 1 p.m. in the area of Evans Avenue and Browns Line, south of Gardiner Expressway. The officer sustained non-life-threatening injuries in the assault, police say. Meanwhile, the driver, a man in his 40s, was subsequently arrested. There is no immediate word on charges. The incident comes a day after another police officer sustained a head injury while responding to a call in the North York on Tuesday morning. Following that incident, Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkew said 8 officers had sustained various non-life-threatening injuries over the course of 24 hours. A Hamilton woman has been charged after allegedly driving in the wrong direction on the QEW from Hamilton to Queens Bay on Wednesday morning. OPP said just before 2:45 a.m., officers began receiving calls about a vehicle driving the wrong way in the Toronto-bound lanes of the QEW at Nikola Tesla Boulevard. An officer caught up with the driver near the Christie Street Highway exit in Grimsby, over 20 kilometers from where the original calls came in. OPP said the vehicle turned around after the officer used their emergency equipment and was stopped near Casablanca Boulevard in Grimsby by a second officer. Caroline Toast, 54, was arrested and charged with impaired driving without a license, dangerous operation of a vehicle, and being a novice driver with a blood alcohol count above 0. The charges have not been tested in court. Police are investigating an early morning fire at the same Oshawa home where a homicide happened last year. Durham police say shortly after 5 a.m. Wednesday morning, officers responded to a fire at a home in the area of Eulalie Avenue and Huron Street. The residence involved in the fire is the same location where Parveen Adel was murdered in November 2024. At the time, the 48-year-old was found suffering from obvious signs of trauma, and her husband, 41-year-old Hakeem Adel, was charged with first-degree murder. Police say while the investigation is ongoing, no connection has been made between Adel's murder and Wednesday's fire. Currently, the home is lived in by an elderly woman and 2 5-year-old children. However, no one was home at the time of the fire and no one was injured, according to police. Any witnesses or anyone with video footage is asked to contact investigators or Crime Stoppers anonymously. The province's police watchdog is investigating after a 33-year-old man died in custody in Richmond Hill Wednesday morning. The Special Investigations Unit, SIU, said the man, who was wanted for breach of probation and turned himself into a York Regional Police Station on Tuesday. He was subsequently taken into custody and put into a cell. At about 1 a.m. on Wednesday, the man was observed in medical distress, the SIU said. Officers provided medical aid and called paramedics. The SIU said the man was transported to hospital where he died. The cause of the death is unknown, and the SIU said an autopsy is scheduled for Thursday. The SIU, an arm's length agency called in to investigate whenever police are involved in a death, serious injury, or allegations of sexual assault, has assigned 2 investigators and 1 forensic investigator to the case. Peel police have arrested 7 people in connection with an armed carjacking in Brampton that led to a brief foot chase in York region. Investigators say the incident occurred on February 6th, shortly after midnight, when a man was confronted at gunpoint while returning to his high-end luxury sedan near Queen Street East and Highway 50 in Brampton. Police say multiple suspects allegedly demanded his keys before ultimately complying to give them up. The suspects then fled with the vehicle, as police say the victim was not physically injured. Investigators say they then tracked the stolen car to an unknown area in Toronto where it was being loaded into a transport truck. The suspect then fled to York region where a lengthy foot chase ensued. Officers from York Regional Police were also brought in for assistance, where they successfully took all suspects into custody. Phil Esperate, 20-year-old from Brampton, was arrested and charged with robbery disguised with intent and using an imitation firearm while committing an offense. 23-year-old Amin Benhad Joda from Woodbridge faces the same charges along with failing to comply with recognizance. Malik Jones, a 20-year-old from Brampton, was also charged with robbery disguised with intent, using an imitation firearm while committing an offense, and obstructing a police officer. 2 17-year-olds and 15-year-old who police have not named due to the Youth Criminal Justice Act were arrested and charged with robbery disguised with intent and using an imitation firearm while committing an offense. The 7th suspect, who police have identified as the operator of the transport truck, is 33-year-old Prabjot Singh of Brampton. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of possession of property obtained by crime. He's scheduled to appear in court at a later date. Police confirmed they have recovered the stolen vehicle but have not identified the brand or its value. In addition, officials say they recovered another stolen car, a replica firearm, and a large amount of currency. Anyone with the information is asked to contact investigators from the Central Robbery Bureau or leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers. The Green Party of Ontario will build 2 million homes in a decade, cut taxes for low and middle income earners, and create a food belt to protect farmland if it wins the election. Leader Mike Schneider pledged Wednesday as he released the party's platform. Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie, meanwhile, promised to end hospital hallway health care, in part of paying nurses and personal support workers more and ensuring wage parity across the entire system. Progressive Conservative leader Doug Ford remains in Washington, D.C. in his capacity as Ontario Premier as he attempts to head off looming U.S. tariffs, while NDP leader Murray Stiles had no public events Wednesday. The Greens are the first party to release a fully costed platform. The NDP and Liberals say they will release costed platforms soon, while the Progressive Conservatives committed to releasing their plan in the coming days, though it wasn't clear if it will be costed. Speaking to the party faithful in Toronto, Schreiner cast this election as a self-interested political gambit, but thought that nonetheless presented an opportunity for the Greens to push for a fair and affordable province. He mostly spared the Liberals and NDP from attacks while accusing Ford of cozying up to billionaires at the expense of working Ontarians and rolling back environmental protections. He was flanked at the podium by the party's co-deputy leaders, Aislinn Clancy, the only Green candidate other than Schreiner to win a seat, and Matt Richer, who's running again in Parry Sound, Muskoka, after finishing just behind the winning PC candidate in the last election. Schreiner said he would legalize fourplexes across the province and mid-rise residential buildings 6 to 11 stories tall in larger cities. He would also end the land transfer tax for first-time buyers, which would cost about $1 billion over the next 4 years. He would also cut taxes for those earning less than $65,000 or households earning less than $100,000 at a cost of $18.8 billion over 4 years, as well as double the rates of both the Ontario Disability Support Program and Ontario Works. The Greens would also build 250,000 affordable rental and 60,000 supportive units over 10 years that would cost $2.7 billion over the next 4 years. They pledged to pay non-profits to operate the 60,000 supportive homes at a cost of nearly $2.5 billion over 4 years. On the other side of the balance sheet, the Green Plan includes a tax hike for the province's top earners. The platform estimates a 3% increase to the top tax bracket would bring in $2.5 billion a year in new revenue. The plan also comes up with just over $2 billion a year in the new revenue through 3 new taxes targeting housing speculators, a vacant home tax, an anti-flipping tax on quick turnaround sales, and a multiple property speculation tax. The speculation tax would start at 25% on a third home and increase with each additional property, the platform says. The platform's largest single source of additional revenue, $4.7 billion a year starting in 2026, comes from working with the federal government to implement a one-time wealth tax over 3 years, though the platform offers no details about how the Greens would make the proposal a reality. Earlier Wednesday, Crombie said the Liberals would address a long-standing issue in healthcare pay parity. The COVID-19 pandemic laid bare the problem of unequal pay among nurses and personal support workers. Generally, hospitals paid nurses and PSWs more than long-term care homes, which in turn paid more than home care services. The lack of pay parity played a major role in nursing home staffing shortages during the pandemic, Ontario's Long-Term Care COVID-19 Commission concluded.
The Ontario Greens platform is fighting for a fair future for all of us. Our plan addresses the fairness that we need to build affordable homes and protect renters, bring fairness back to our healthcare and education systems, to protect the prime farmland that feeds us, and lower your energy bills and reduce climate pollution. Our plan will cut taxes for individuals earning under $65,000 a year and households earning under $100,000 a year, saving them up to $1,700 a year and asking the wealthiest in our province to pay a bit more to make fairness in Ontario work for people. We will cancel Highway 413 and protect the Greenbelt. We will restore fairness to our education and healthcare systems, starting by a plan to recruit 3,500 family doctors and have them operating part of family health teams with nurse practitioners and other healthcare providers operating at their full scope of practice, so everyone in Ontario has access to primary health care in this province, where we are the first party to release a fully costed platform because we want to be honest and transparent with the people of this province because that's the kind of government they deserve.
So we will be releasing a costed platform, and I understand that they too see the need and have adopted many of our recommendations on healthcare. Very pleased to see that.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.